Hello kind people of YouTube and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a relatively short one, but I do have a couple stories I want to talk about, and let's start with the most controversial one first, and that is Coinbase acquiring Neutrino, no idea how that is supposed to be pronounced, which is a pretty controversial company among other revelations about Coinbase itself. And this one I'm gonna tell you up front, I don't have a clear opinion about quite yet. I'm a bit conflicted about, but I'm just gonna share the news with you guys and then you can come to your own conclusions. Christina Sandler, Coinbase's Director of Institutional Sales, has defended the crypto exchange's controversial acquisition of blockchain intelligence firm Neutrino. In an interview with financial news channel Cheddar on March 1st, Sandler said that previous client data providers were selling Coinbase user data to outside sources, which is of course a big no-no in the internet space, but unfortunately is being done by most major online companies that have user data. A lot of them sell data to outside sources, make money off user data. It is something that a lot of people have harshly criticized the modern internet for, but it is going on almost everywhere, and Coinbase apparently was one of those platforms. As reported, major United States crypto exchange and wallet Coinbase first announced the Neutrino acquisition on February 19th, saying it would make use of the startup's advanced blockchain analytics tool, anti-money laundering, and know your customer technology. The move swiftly became controversial as details of the Neutrino co-founders' backgrounds came to light. Specifically their prior involvement with commercial software firm Hacking Team, whose spyware has reportedly been used by a broad canopy of international governments and law enforcement agencies, with authoritarian regimes allegedly among them. Now, before we move on, I would like to point out that there are two possible ways to read this. Now, it is definitely troubling that the co-founders of Neutrino have ties to these hacking software providers who are undermining personal freedoms and personal privacy for millions of people, possibly billions of people around the globe. I am very much a privacy-minded person and I will be the first to call them out for that. However, Coinbase buying this company does not mean that they agree with or that they in any way wish to use those connections or that expertise. They might be buying Neutrino for a variety of reasons, including their software solutions, their patents, and not necessarily just for the co-founders. They might even be planning to kick out those co-founders once the acquisition has gone through. So either they are specifically aiming for these connections, for this expertise, or they are aiming for something else and have no interest in that. And I think both are equally valid readings of the situation. The troubling thing is that we cannot know for sure. In response to the crypto community's furore over these connections, which spawned the Delete Coinbase hashtag, Sandler defended the exchange decision, telling Cheddar that it was important to leave their current providers due to their data selling practices. We are aware of the backgrounds of some of the folks that were involved in Neutrino. It was important for us to migrate away from our current providers. They were selling client data to outside sources, and it was compelling for us to get control over that and have proprietary technology that we could leverage to keep the data safe and protect our clients. Now, I absolutely get being wary of this. I'm not a big fan of Coinbase, as we have talked about many times on this channel. However, this is absolutely a legitimate position to have and a legitimate reading of the situation, and it is absolutely conceivable that there are no lies involved in this, just as it is conceivable that they are lying, that they are actually looking for this expertise. But I'm more leaning towards currently this being the truth. Because if their previous data provider was selling data, that of course is a major privacy issue, and their first priority in that case would be to seek out either an alternative provider, where you always run the risk of a similar situation, or to take over a company or provide their own solutions. And that seems to me the most likely reason why they acquired this company. Now, my reading could be wrong. I'm also saying this is the most likely in my opinion, but I do think in this one case, and you know I'm not a supporter of Coinbase, you know I have been critical of them in the past, you know I am not biased here. In this one case, this seems like a lot of smoke with no fire, but it does raise some questionable concerns. And that is really all I have to say about this topic. I'm leaning towards this one direction, but it is altogether still not the nicest situation. But just this once, I'm leaning towards trusting Coinbase on this issue. They seem to have made a very sensible business decision here, and their explanation of it makes perfect sense, and I have very little reason to question it. But with Coinbase as a company, I'm always a bit wary. Next up, and let's not get political here, I will not share my opinion of Emmanuel Macron, and I don't want any big discussions about him or about France in the comments. Let's just talk about what he said and did here, okay? Because this is not supposed to be a politics channel. And he made some statements about blockchain that might be of interest. The feasibility and usage of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology in real-life scenarios seems to be the norm, as multiple luminaries spoke in support of digital assets and their underlying technology. The latest person to speak for blockchain technology is French President Emmanuel Macron, who stated that blockchain technology can be used to boost the agricultural industry as well as address concerns related to the food industry. Macron stated, "Let's do this in Europe, be at the vanguard of agricultural data by developing tools that will track every product from raw material production to packaging and processing." The French president was speaking at the 56th International Agricultural Fair in Paris, where the premier touched upon the need to track commodities so that it does not lead to scandals or issues. He further stated that innovations in fields such as blockchain should trickle down to other industries so that they can also benefit from it, in his words. "The innovation is there and it must be used in the agricultural world, as doing so would both bring shared excellence and offer benefits to consumers." Now, he's not specifically talking about cryptocurrencies here, he's talking about blockchain in general, but we have seen some implementations of both just blockchain and of blockchain using cryptocurrencies in the agricultural space. We have seen major providers, we have seen major farming companies, major distributors use blockchain to keep track of their products, to really have a supply chain that is transparent. And that is one of the areas where blockchain has the most immediate, most obvious application. And it's wonderful to see the president of France, of course one of the industrial powers of the world, not like one of the 3 or 4 biggest, but probably in the top 10 there, embracing blockchain in this way. Doesn't necessarily mean embracing crypto, but blockchain often does come with either its own proprietary token for a specific purpose, or with one of the major cryptocurrencies being used. In general, this is good for the blockchain space, and let's hope we see not just words but also real-life implementation in France. And of course, Macron himself can't do that much about this. This is an industry issue, but him pushing this forward has a certain weight to it. And it's certainly a pro-blockchain position, and pro-blockchain is just a stone throw away from pro-crypto. Next up, some interesting news about Bitcoin's Lightning Network, or rather about a certain application of it that is meant to showcase the position that crypto can hold in the world. And this is very interesting, if not necessarily any direct improvement to the code or any mass adoption case. This is a very symbolic thing, and I think it's important, and I want to briefly talk about it. Bitcoin's Lightning Torch, an ongoing experiment meant to test and showcase the next generation payments technology now in beta, has officially made it to a user in Iran. The Lightning Torch finds Bitcoin users testing out the network by passing around a small payment, each adding roughly 30 cents worth of Bitcoin before passing it on. As such, the payment to Ziya Sada, I probably mispronounced that, very sorry, on Sunday marks the latest milestone in a 6-week-long effort that has seen participation from Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey and LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, among other technology figures. Yet the payment to Sada is notable, given the question of international sanctions had begun to impact the exercise. One of the goals of the effort is to demonstrate Bitcoin's power as a global payment system that can be sent anywhere, and the torch has smoothly passed through at least 40 countries so far. Yet, pseudonymous Lightning Torch creator Hodlnaut told CoinDesk that the question of whether the torch could be passed to Iran had proved an obstacle. The cooling effect of US sanctions seemed to be a big factor, he said. Indeed, despite early efforts to participate, Sada kept being passed over as the recipient. One user even decided to pass it to someone else over concerns that might violate US sanctions. That the torch couldn't get to Iran seemed to betray the game's principles, so when it finally got to Iran Sunday morning, participants responded with excitement to the news. And that is really all we need to read here. The takeaway from this is that this is essentially a proof of concept. This is a proof of concept of crypto just existing on a space beyond borders. connecting the entire world in a way that wasn't possible before, that doesn't care about borders, that doesn't care about politics. And despite some minor setbacks, some questions about whether it could go to Iran, it has successfully made it even there. This is a small step, but this is a symbolic step. This is, like I said, a proof of concept for crypto in general, for the power crypto has to unite the world, to get us into essentially a post-border future. The internet was one of the first steps toward it, and now cryptocurrency can be one further step. This is an early sign of a lot that is to come, and this is how crypto will be used for good in the world. Being able to go from anywhere to anywhere, whatever the political situation is, whoever is sending it, whoever is receiving it, this can help so many people who are being cut off by the government, so many people who are being unjustly held down, and it's beautiful. And last up, something more in the line of mass adoption by the traditional finance world. TradingView adds first crypto index to charts and analysis platform. TradingView, the US-based provider of financial markets data, charts and analysis, has added a cryptocurrency index to its platform for the first time. Crypto exchange Huobi announced Monday that TradingView has added its HB10 index in a move it said showed the continued maturation of the digital assets industry. The index can already be accessed on TradingView. Huobi launched the HB10 index back in May to track a basket of the top cryptocurrencies based on liquidity and market cap traded on its platform in real time against US dollar-pegged stablecoin Tether. Livio Wang, CEO of Huobi Global, said in today's announcement, "As a go-to site for high volume and API traders, as well as the retail commodity, forex and of course crypto trading community around the world, we feel TradingView is a perfect fit for HB10. And that is once again all we need to read to get the gist of this. TradingView is a pretty important name in the financial world, and them listing their first crypto index means a lot more exposure of crypto to mainstream investors. This is normalizing crypto as an investment, and this will have ripple effects in the future. And that is all I wanted to talk about today. Sorry I kind of rushed through this video, but I don't have all that much time today. Thanks for watching as always. If you want to read any of these articles yourself, the links will be in the description. If you want to follow me on social media, the links are also in the description. And if you enjoy my content, I would really appreciate if you could support the channel. There are ways to do so, including a Patreon in the description. Any small support is highly appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with another video very soon.